Welcome back everybody. I see a lot of springtime fragrances for 2017 on YouTube, which is great. They're fantastic for people getting into fragrances, and they were great for me. Those type of lists were great for me when I started collecting, because I wanted to get an idea of what I mean, I had no idea that there were fragrances that should be worn at different times of the year. And the thing with rules like that is that they should never be hard and fast. If you love a fragrance and you want to wear it, I always say go ahead and wear it. They will, some can smell or feel different depending on the temperature or the environment that you're in, whether you're indoors and outdoors. But today's video is all about an alternative spring fragrance list. So stick with me and I'll go through them. Alright, so if you've been watching YouTube reviews for long enough, you'll know that lots of reviewers bring out lists for the different seasons. So at the moment, obviously in the Northern Hemisphere, there are a lot of springtime fragrance lists out there. At the moment here in Melbourne, it's autumn or fall. In this city, the seasons between summer and winter are not too different. So we'll get lots of days that are of similar temperatures during the day. So there's not really, I don't think, a major difference in the type of fragrances you can wear here. And like I said, there are a lot of fragrances in my collection that I feel like I can wear any time of the year, with a few exceptions. So what I wanted to go through today, just very quickly, is I've got an alternative spring fragrance list. You probably won't see a lot of these fragrances in the springtime lists that are coming out on YouTube at the moment, and I just wanted to put in your mind that there are alternatives. Like things like green Irish tweed and grey vetiver are very common in these lists because they're fantastic fragrances and they are great in the springtime when the weather starts getting warmer. But I've got a few fragrances here that you wouldn't necessarily think of as spring fragrances, but I'm telling you that provided that there are no real extremes in temperature, they're perfectly fine to wear. So let's start. Okay, so the first fragrance I'm going to talk about is this one here. Is in my top 5 fragrances, and for me, I feel this is all year round fragrance. It's from the house of L'Artisan Parfumé, and it's the legendary, I think, Timbuktu. So vetiver, incense, green mango. So it's not your typical sharp vetiver fragrance, say like if you're trying to compare to a Terre d'Hermès. This with the incense and that juicy green mango just makes it unique. I haven't smelt anything like it, and a great option for spring. Definitely day or night. It's got great performance on my skin. Timbuktu by L'Artisan Parfumé. I think for a niche house, they're pretty reasonably priced as well. So I'll put links to these fragrances below so you can check them out. Thanks. Okay, next on my list is a classic fragrance that you may see on quite a few spring fragrance lists, but it also pops up on some cooler month lists, and it's none other than Yves Saint Laurent's Rive Gauche. I've got the old tin can version. I'm pretty sure that the new La Collection edition of Rive Gauche is pretty good as well, and reasonably close to this. The cliched description of this is very nice, classy smelling shaving cream, barbershop feel. It's rosemary, lavender, star anise, oak moss in the base, and it's just a classy fragrance. And if you can imagine those days as a gent, if you want to wear a beautiful crisp white shirt, I can't think of anything that goes with that better than Rêve Gauche. Next on the list, this is pretty new to me, and I haven't had a lot of time wearing this, but of the couple of times I've worn it already, it actually reminded me a little bit of Rêve Gauche. I'm getting that Rêve Gauche vibe, but with added citrus notes on top. And this has a champagne note that's listed on the note pyramid for this particular fragrance. So it does give it a nice light, fresh vibe that is absolutely suitable to wear, great for the office. And this is Oscar de la Renta's Gentleman. I believe it came out last year in 2016, and very cheap at the moment, so have a look out for it. Rêve Gauche with some citrus vibe, not exactly the same, but that's the kind of thing I'm getting, and this has got pretty good performance as well. Like I said, I haven't worn it too much, but I've been very impressed with the couple of times I've worn it so far, so that's one to consider. Okay, so now I'm gonna mention a few fragrances that are probably more associated with cooler weather, but let's not forget springtime has cooler days, and when we're talking about seasons, especially spring and fall, you're going to get still big variations depending on where you live. You might still get some warmer days. I know we're well into fall here in Melbourne, but tomorrow is going to be in the high 20s Celsius, so that's kind of unseasonably warm. So think about the variations in these seasons, and the fact that you know there are no hard and fast rules about what you can wear. So what I'm going to talk about next is from Bottega Veneta, and that is Porahom. I've talked about this in my leather video, which I'll put a link to. This is a nice green leather, fir, pine, and leather are the main notes, and it's got that refreshing vibe about it that is perfectly suitable for, I imagine, wearing this on crisp spring mornings when it's still very cool outside, and to me it's got a very outdoorsy feel, but again it's a classy scent, and you can easily wear it for the evenings in the springtime. Last couple of fragrances would be perfect for evenings in the springtime, for indoor environments, for work. As long as you don't overspray these, they're perfectly fine for when the weather gets slightly warmer. So the first one is from the house of Diptyque, and that's Tam Dao. This is the EDT version, comes in an EDP. Apparently the EDP has slightly better performance, but for beautiful creamy sandalwood cedar, you can't go past this. This is the benchmark as far as I'm concerned, and I think quite a few would agree with me. And it's kind of really nice to wear when the weather starts to warm up. So this would be perfect on warm evenings as well. And there's nothing, to my nose, there's almost nothing as good as smelling a beautiful creamy sandalwood note. Last but not least is a classic which I probably would wear most of the year apart from very warm days, and that is none other than Christian Dior's Homme, the original EDT. I have got the reformulated version that was from 2012, I think. So I don't have the original, but this is just beautiful, and you know it's been said so many times before, that iris note drying down into a bit of cocoa and a little bit of leather, but it's being in EDT form, it's different to the Intense, where I have found when I've tested the Dior Homme Intense that could definitely get a bit cloying in warmer weather. This would be perfect on, you know, on mild spring days and any evenings in spring. Dior Homme definitely a more versatile fragrance than the Intense Flanco as far as I'm concerned, and it's beautiful, it's classy, I think it's very, even though a lot of people associate the iris with it as being a little bit feminine, I think in some ways I almost think that it has another level of masculinity to it, and it's difficult to put into words, but it just reeks of a classy man. That's Dior Homme EDT. So I hope if anything I've prompted you to think about not sticking to too hard and fast a rule when it comes to wearing fragrances in particular seasons. Spring is great, winter is great, summer is great, fall is great, because you can try new. I don't think that you have to stick to any hard and fast rules. Wear what you like, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. See you later.